dew point 06 QNH1008. VFR conditions. Landing runway 01 left. Departing runways 01 left, 01 right. Transition level 080. Numerous cranes in operation around Gardermoen. Advise on initial contact you have information Golf. Gardermoen Airport Information Golf 1811 Zulu, wind 205 at 4. Temperature 22, dew point 06 QNH1008. VFR conditions. Landing runway 01 left. Departing runways 01 left, 01 right. Transition level 080. Numerous cranes in operation around Gardermoen. Advise on initial contact you have information Golf.
Gardermoen clearance, good evening, Nordic 972, stand 12 with information Golf, request clearance to Kaunas.
Nordic 972, Gardermoen delivery. Information Golf correct. Expect runway 01 left. MSFS 4 Alpha departure, initial climb to 7,000 feet. Squawk 0014.
Clear to Kaunas, expect runway 01 left, MSFS 4 Alpha departure, initial climb 7,000 feet, squawk 0014 for Nordic 972.
Nordic 972, read back correct. Contact ground 121.605 when ready for push or start.
Ground 121.605 for Nordic 972.
Hi, the security and safety check are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Yes, please.
Thanks.
Terrain, pull up. Airspeed low, Sink rate, pull up. Terrain, pull up. Don't sink, too low, terrain.
Hi, here's a fuel slip.
Too low,
Thanks.
gear.
Welcome, have a nice
Too
flight.
low, flaps. Too low, terrain. Glide slope. Bank angle. Approaching minimums. 2,500. 1,000. 500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. Wind shear. Too low, terrain.
Nordic 93 Echo Gate 11 taxi via Alpha 7 Mike Kilo Kilo 1.
Gate 11 via Alpha 7 Mike Kilo Kilo 1 Nordic 93 Echo.
Hi guys, here's the load sheet for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Have a safe flight.
Before takeoff, before start checklist below the line. Before start checklist below the line.
Before start checklist below the line. Air conditioning packs.
Off.
Anti-collision light.
On.
Parking brake.
Set.
Transponder.
Alt off.
Before start checklist below the line completed.
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we clear to close?
Clear to close.
Thanks. Let me know if you need anything.
Cockpit to ground, we are ready for pushback.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback. All aircraft be advised, information hotel now current QNH 1009er. Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted. Locking gear.
Gardermoen ground, Nordic 972, stand 1-2, request push and start.
Nordic 972, Gardermoen ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face west.
Pushback and engine start approved, face west, Nordic 972.
Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push.
Start
All
sequence is
engines
2
clear.
and 1.
Start at wheel.
Check.
Danish 575, ramp 7 taxi via Alpha 7, Mike, Kilo, Echo.
Ramp 7 by Alpha 7 Mike, Kilo, Echo, Danish 575.
Please set parking brakes.
Starting engine 1.
Starting engine 1. Oil pressure.
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
World Express
Left is clear.
3313
Right is
Heavy,
clear.
request pushback.
Starter cutout.
World Express 3313
Number
heavy,
one stable.
Gardermoen ground.
Before
Pushback
taxi
and engine
checklist.
start approved. Face south.
Before taxi checklist.
Pushback and
Generators.
engine start
On.
approved, face south. World
APU.
Express
Off.
3313 Heavy.
Start switches.
Continuous.
Probe heat.
On.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Air conditioning.
Pax auto blitz on.
Isolation valve.
Auto.
Flaps.
5 brake wire, 5 selector green light.
Stabilizer trim.
Set and checked.
Start levers.
Idle detent.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Recall.
Checked.
Before taxi checklist completed.
Gardermoen ground Nordic 972, request taxi.
Gardermoen ground Nordic 972. Good morning. You are currently cleared to push back from gate. Please advise when ready for taxi.
We are ready for taxi, Nordic 972.
Nordic 1 Romeo Alpha, gate 69er, taxi via Alpha 7 November Victor Zulu Whiskey Romeo. Gate 69er via Alpha 7 November Victor Zulu Whiskey Romeo Nordic 1 Romeo Alpha. Nordic 972, runway 01 left taxi via Golf November Alpha 1.
Runway 01 left taxi via Golf November Alpha 1, Nordic 972.
Wideroo 82 Victor, ramp 906, request pushback and engine start.
Wideroo 82 Victor, Gardermoen ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face west.
Pushback approved, face west, Wideroo 82 Victor.
World Express 3313 Heavy.
Are you ready for the departure brief?
Go ahead.
Okay, it's going to be a standard pushback and start
World
off the
Express
gate. Taxi route will be as
3313
assigned by
heavy,
ATC.
runway 01
It'll be a
left
left
taxi
seat
via November
takeoff,
Alpha
using
1.
rated thrust, planning a flaps 5 takeoff. Anti-ice will
01
be
left
off.
taxi via
Standard
November,
reject
Alpha
actions
1,
to
World
V1
Express
as please.
3313
From
Heavy.
V1, or if I call is continue, I will continue the takeoff as per the standard company procedures. The engine out procedure today is as per the chart. We are under our maximum landing weight, so we are okay to make an immediate return. Okay, all going well. The departure routing will be via the ATC assigned SID, complying with all the published speed and altitude restrictions. No nose abatement procedure required. LNV nav are armed. Flight directors are on. Mine is master, yours is slave. Navigation radios are set. The NOTAMs and the aircraft defect log has been reviewed. Any questions, comments or concerns?
Scandinavian
No questions.
462, gate
Departure brief
77
complete.
taxi via Alpha 7 November Victor Romeo.
Gate 77 via Alpha 7 November Victor Romeo Scandinavian 462.
Wideroo 82 Victor, request taxi to the active.
Wideroo 82 Victor, runway 01 left taxi via Papa November Alpha 1.
Runway 01 left taxi via Papa, November Alpha 1, Wideroo 82 Victor.
World Express 3313 heavy, contact Gardermoen Tower 118.3.
Contact Tower 118.3, World Express 3313 Heavy.
Before takeoff, checklist to the line.
Before takeoff checklist to the line. Config.
Checked.
Flaps.
55, green lights.
Stabilizer trim.
Set and checked.
Takeoff briefing.
Reviewed.
Holding at cabin. Cabin.
Secure.
Before takeoff checklist to the line completed.
Nordic 972, contact Gardermoen Tower 118.3.
Go to tower 118.3 for Nordic 972. Gardermoen Tower, good evening, Nordic 972, runway 01 left, ready for departure.
Nordic 972, runway 01 left, line up and wait.
Runway 01 left, line up and wait, Nordic 972. Before takeoff checklist below the line.
Stand by. Cabin crew seats for departure. Before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP.
Nordic 972, Gardermoen Tower, wind 225 at 4, runway 01 left, cleared for takeoff.
Set.
Transponder.
Runway 01 left, clear for takeoff, Nordic 972. TARA.
Strobe lights.
On.
Landing lights.
On.
World Express
Before takeoff
3313
checklist below the
heavy,
line
contact
completed.
Oslo departure 120.45.
Timing.
Contact Oslo departure 120.45,
Timing.
World Express 3313 heavy.
Stabilized.
Set takeoff thrust.
Takeoff thrust set. Indicators normal. $80 knots.
80 knots.
V1. Rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up.
Positive rate. Gear up. LNAV.
Flaps 1.
Nordic 972,
Speed check,
contact
flaps
Oslo
1.
departure 120.45.
120.45 for Nordic 972. Flaps up.
Speed checked. Flaps up.
Oslo departure, Nordic 972, good evening, 2,500 feet.
Nordic 972, Oslo departure, identified climb to flight level 180.
Climb to flight level 180, Nordic 972. After takeoff checklist.
Stand by. After takeoff checklist. Air conditioning and pressurization. 1.6 set altimeters.
Set and checked.
After takeoff checklist completed. Flaps up, no lights.
Oslo departure, Widerøe 82 Victor. Good evening, 1,800 feet.
Widerøe 82 Victor, Oslo departure identified, climb to flight level 120.
Climb to flight level
Altimeters.
120,
10 checks.
Widerøe 82 Victor.
10 checks. Fuel 4, pumps on, lights. APU, air conditioning and pressurization. 3.9, fasten belts. Happy to release the cabin? Recall, monitor 121.50 on VHF2.
World Express 3313 Heavy, contact Polaris Control 118.55.
Center on 118.55, World Express 3313 Heavy. Bye-bye.
Nordic 972, contact Polaris Control 118.55. Have a good evening.
118.55, Nordic 972. Bye-bye. Polaris Control, good evening, Nordic 972, climbing to flight level 160.
Nordic 972, Polaris Control, radar contact, climb to flight level 370.
Climb to flight level 370, Nordic 972.
Polaris Control, Widerøe 82 Victor. Good evening, out of flight level 090 for flight level 120 direct GM446.
Widerøe 82, Victor, Polaris Control identified, climb to flight level 240.
Climb to flight level 240, Widerøe 82 Victor.
Swiss 9 Zulu Victor, contact Oslo approach 118.475.
Contact Oslo approach 118.475, Swiss 9 Zulu Victor.
Viking 1553, Polaris Control, expect right palm tree Lima, runway 01 left.
Expect right palm tree Lima, runway 01 left, Viking 1553.
Scandinavian 810, Polaris Control, expect Ripam Tree Lima, runway 01 left.
Expect Ripam Tree Lima, runway 01 left, Scandinavian 810.
Scandinavian 810, Repalm Tree Lima, runway 01 left. Report ready for descent.
Repalm Tree Lima, runway 01 left, ready for descent, Scandinavian 810.
Scandinavian 810, descend to flight level 140.
Descend to flight level 140, Scandinavian 810.
Viking 1553, Repalm Tree Lima, runway 01 left. Report ready for descent.
Repalm Tree Lima, runway 01 left, ready for descent, Viking 1553.
Viking 1553, descend to flight level 140.
Descent to flight level 140, Viking 1553.
Nordic 972, contact Sweden control 118.0, bye-bye.
118.0 for Nordic 972, bye-bye. Sweden control, good evening, Nordic 972, climb to flight level 255.
Nordic 972, Polaris control identified.
Sweden control, Nordic 972, climbing to flight level 260. Sweden control, Nordic 972, climbing to flight level 210.
Scandinavian 4095, you were assigned flight level tree 80. I show you at flight level tree 70. Climb to flight level tree 80.
Roger, climb to flight level 380, Scandinavian 4095.
Scandinavian 4095, Polaris control, expect Belgium Tree Lima, runway 01 left.
Expect Belgium Tree Lima, runway 01 left, Scandinavian 4095.
Nordic 1309, Polaris Control, expect Ripon 3 Lima, runway 01 left.
Expect Ripon 3 Lima, runway 01 left, Nordic 1309.
One to go.
Flight level 370, set 3 times.
Wider 082, Victor, you were assigned flight level 240. I show you at flight level 229er. Climb to flight level 240.
Wilco, climb to flight level 240, wider 082 Victor.
Nordic 1309, right on 3 Lima, runway 01 left. Report ready for descent.
Ripon 3 Lima, runway 01 left, ready for descent, Nordic 1309.
Nordic 1309, descend to flight level 140.
Descend to flight level 140, Nordic 1309.
Polaris Control, Sprint Air 920, good evening, descending via Luna 4 Lima, flight level 195.
Sprint Air 920, Polaris Control, radar contact. Polaris Control, Nordic 436, good evening. Crossing flight level 140 for flight level 170, direct GM 722. Nordic 436, Polaris Control, good evening identified. Climb to flight level 340. Climb to flight level 340, Nordic 436.
Sweden Control, good evening, Nordic 972, flight level 370.
Nordic 972, say altitude.
Flight level 370, Nordic 972.
Scandinavian 1021, turn right, heading 020, climb to flight level 380.
Turn right, heading 020, climb to flight level 380, Scandinavian 1021.
Scandinavian 1021, Sweden Control, expect Hammertree. Juliet, runway 01 left.
Expect Hammertree Juliet, runway 01 left, Scandinavian 1021.
Speedbird 793, contact Copenhagen Control 119.43.
Centre on 119.43, Speedbird 793.
Finnair 3 Echo Hotel, descend to 2,500 feet, QNH 1008.
Descend to 2,500 feet, QNH 1008, Finnair 3 Echo Hotel.
Nordic 949, Lunik 4 Lima, runway 01 left. Report ready for descent.
Lunik 4 Lima, runway 01 left, ready for descent, Nordic 949.
Nordic 949, descend to flight level 140.
Descend to flight level 140, Nordic 949.
Finnair 3, Echo Hotel. Leave CB 532, heading 260. Expect radar vectors for ILS runway 12.
Leave SB 532, heading 260, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 12, Finnair 3, Echo Hotel.
Finnair 9, Papa Golf. Contact Talon Control 122.9er.
Contact Talon Control 122.9er, Finnair 9 Papa Golf.
Scandinavian 071, Sweden Control, expect hammer tree. Juliet, runway 01 left. Expect hammer tree Juliet, runway 01 left, Scandinavian 071. Braithens 263 Papa, Sweden Control, expect hammer 9er uniform, runway 12.
Expect Hammer 9er uniform, runway 12, Braithens 263 Papa.
Ryanair 8 Uniform Delta, Sweden Control, expect Nylug 2. Mike with the Nylug transition, runway 01 right.
Expect Nylug 2 Mike with the Nylug transition, runway 01 right, Ryanair 8 Uniform Delta.
Ryanair 8, Uniform Delta, Nylug 2. Mike with the Nylug transition, runway 01 right. Report ready for descent.
Nylug 2 Mike with the Nylug transition, runway 01 right, ready for descent, Ryanair 8 Uniform Delta.
Ryanair 8, Uniform Delta, descend to flight level 150.
Descend to flight level 150, Ryanair 8 Uniform Delta.
Spinnaker 549, contact Copenhagen Control 119.43.
Contact Copenhagen Control 119.43, Spinnaker 549. Sweden Control, Air Baltic 7 Juliet Echo, flight level 360.
Air Baltic 7 Juliet Echo, Sweden Control, radar contact. Finnair 2 Kilo Echo, contact Tallinn Control 122.9er.
Contact Tallinn Control 122.9er, Finnair 2 Kilo Echo.
Spinnaker 1556, Sweden Control, expect Alto 3 Juliet, runway 01 left.
Expect Alto 3 Juliet, runway 01 left, Spinnaker 1556.
Brassen 60 Mike, Sweden Control, expect Rasmus 1 Sierra, runway 17. Expect Rasmus 1 Sierra, runway 17, Brassen 60 Mike. Brayton 263 Papa, Hammer 9er uniform, runway 12, report ready for descent.
Hammer 9er uniform, runway 12, ready for descent, Brayton 263 Papa.
Brassen 263 Papa, descend to 2,500 feet, QNH 1008.
Descend to 2,500 feet, Brassen 263 Papa.
Scandinavian 071, Hammer Tree, Juliet, runway 01 left, report ready for descent.
Hammer 3 Juliet, runway 01 left, ready for descent, Scandinavian 071.
Scandinavian 071, descend to flight level 120.
Descend to flight level 120, Scandinavian 071.
Scandinavian 1021, Hammer Tree Juliet, runway 01 left, report ready for descent.
Hammer 3 Juliet, runway 01 left, ready for descent, Scandinavian 1021.
Scandinavian 1021, descend to flight level 120.
Descend to flight level 120, Scandinavian 1021.
Scandinavian 1021, cleared direct hammer. Resume own navigation.
Roger, heading direct hammer, then resume own navigation, Scandinavian 1021, thanks.
Sweden Control, Spinnaker 60 Romeo, good evening, flight level 380.
Spinnaker 60 Romeo, Sweden Control, identified. Finnair 3 Echo Hotel, turn left, heading 240, vectors for the approach.
Turn left, heading 240, Finnair 3 Echo Hotel.
Spinnaker 1556, you were assigned flight level 390. I show you at flight level 379er. Climb to flight level 390.
Wilco, climb to flight level 390, Spinnaker 1556.
Finnair 3 Echo Hotel, 3 miles from Apkin, turn left, heading 150, maintain 2,500 feet until established, cleared ILS runway 12.
Turn left, heading 150, 2,500 feet until established, cleared ILS runway 12, Finnair 3 Echo Hotel.
Brothens 60 Mike, descend to flight level 080. Descend to flight level 080, Brathens 60 Mike. Nordic 949, contact Polaris Control 118.55.
Contact Polaris Control 118.55, Nordic 949.
Finnair 3 Echo Hotel, contact Bromma Tower 118.105. Bye-bye.
Over to Tower 118.105, Finnair 3 Echo Hotel. Have a good evening.
Spinnaker 1556, Eltok Tree Juliet, runway 01 left. Report ready for descent.
Eltok Tree Juliet, runway 01 left, ready for descent. Spinnaker 1556.
Spinnaker 1556, descend to flight level 110.
Descend to flight level 110, Spinnaker 1556.
Finnair 2 Echo Golf, you were assigned flight level 390. I show you at flight level 380. Climb to flight level 390.
Wilco, climb to flight level 390, Finnair 2 Echo Golf.
Spinnaker 1556, contact Stockholm approach 126.655.
Contact Stockholm, approach 126.655, Spinnaker 1556.
French Post 8, Romeo Bravo. Fly present heading, climb to flight level 200. Expect further clearance in about 2-3 miles. Fly present heading, climb to flight level 200, French Post 8, Romeo Bravo.
Sweden Control, Wiz Malta 146, good evening, flight level 360.
Wiz Malta 146, Sweden Control, radar contact. Nordic 972, contact Riga Control 128.0, bye-bye.
128.0 for Nordic 972, bye-bye. Riga Control, good evening, Nordic 972, flight level 370.
Nordic 972, Riga Control identified.
Riga Control, French Post 2, India X-ray, flight level 340.
French Post 2, India X-ray, Riga Control identified.
Finnair 3 Mike Kilo, Riga Control, expect Divan 4 Mike, runway 15.
Expect Divan 4 Mike, runway 15, Finnair 3 Mike Kilo.
Finnair 3 Mike Kilo, contact Tallinn, control 122.9er. Have a good evening.
Center on 122.9er, Finnair 3 Mike Kilo, bye-bye.
Finnair 2 Papa X-ray, Riga control, expect Divan 4 Mike, runway 15.
Expect Divan 4 Mike, runway 15, Finnair 2 Papa X-ray.
Are you ready for the approach brief?
Okay.
The arrival routing will be via the ATC Astine Star, complying with all published speed and altitude restrictions. For an ILS approach, planning a flaps 30 landing. Taxi route in will be as assigned by ATC. We will be arriving at the gate. Descent speeds and navigation radios are set. Airport NOTAMs has been reviewed. Any questions, comments or concerns?
No questions.
Approach brief complete.
Nordic 972, Riga control, expect Pelot 2 Bravo, runway 26.
Expect PLU to Bravo, runway 26 for Nordic 972.
Nordic 972, contact Vilnius control 132.275.
132.275 for Nordic 972. Bye bye. Vilnius control, good evening, Nordic 972, flight level 370.
Nordic 972, Vilnius control, radar contact.
Landing and departing runway 26, transition level 060, numerous cranes in operation around Kaunas. Advise on initial contact. You have information Delta.
Vilnius control, Finnair 1 Yankee Bravo. Good evening, flight
Kaunas
level
Airport
350.
Delta, 1926 Zulu, wind variable, temperature 20,
Finnair 1 Yankee Bravo, Vilnius control identified.
QNH1007, VFR conditions. Landing and departing runway 26, transition level 060, numerous cranes in operation around Kaunas.
Nordic 972, Pelot 2 Bravo, runway 26, report ready for descent.
We are ready for descent now, Nordic 972.
Nordic 972, descend to flight level 120.
Descent to flight level 120, Nordic 972. Descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Pressurization.
Set and checked.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Approach briefing and fuel.
Discussed.
Indicated airspeed and altimeter bugs.
Set and checked.
Descent checklist completed.
Vilnius Control, French Post 2 India X-ray, flight level 340.
French Post 2 India X-ray, Vilnius Control identified. Delta Romeo, contact Riga Control 128.0.
Center on 128.0, Finnair 7 Delta Romeo.
Finnair 1 Yankee Bravo, contact Riga Control 128.0.
Center on 128.0, Finnair 1 Yankee Bravo. Bye-bye.
French Post 2 India X-ray, contact Sweden Control 118.0.
Center on 118.0, French Post 2 India X-ray.
Post 1 Uniform November, descending via Adidu 2 Bravo, flight level 230.
French Post 1 Uniform November, Vilnius control identified.
Frisk.
Frequencies. Standby instrument set. Courses 258 and 258. Frisk complete.
Approach checklist.
Approach checklist. Altimeters and instruments.
Set and checked.
Approach aids.
Set and checked.
Approach checklist completed. One to go.
French Post 1 Uniform November, descend to flight level 110.
Descend to flight level 110, French Post 1 Uniform November.
Nordic 972 QNH 1007, expect the ILS Zulu runway 26 with the NASAP transition.
QNH 1007, expect ILS runway 26 with a NASAP transition, Nordic 972.
Nordic 972, descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1007.
Descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1007 for Nordic 972.
Nordic 972 cleared direct Nasap, cross Nasap at or above 5,000 feet, cleared ILS Zulu runway 26.
Clear direct NASAP, cross NASAP at or above 5,000 feet, clear for ILS Zulu runway 26 for Nordic 972.
Altimeters.
10 checks.
10 checks. Cabin crew 10 minutes to landing. Fuel 4, pumps on, lights, angle of bank, air conditioning and pressurization 3.2, fasten belts, recall 121.50 deselected.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked.
Vilnius Control Air Baltic 776. Good evening. Descending via Tensi 2 Tango, flight level
Flaps
315.
1. Cabin crew, seats for landing.
Air Baltic 776 Vilnius Control identified. French Post 1 Uniform November QNH 1007, expect the ILS Zulu runway 26 with the regular transition.
QNH 1007, expect the ILS Zulu runway 26 with the regular transition. French Post 1 Uniform November.
French Post 1 Uniform November, descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1007.
Descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1007, French Post 1 Uniform November.
Flaps 5.
Speed checked. Flaps 5. One to go.
French Post 1 Uniform November, cleared direct reglu, cross reglu at or above 5,000 feet, cleared ILS Zulu runway 26.
Cleared direct reglu, cross reglu at or above 5,000 feet. Cleared ILS Zulu runway 26, French post 1 uniform November.
One to go.
Flaps 10.
Speed checked. Flaps 10.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Nordic 972,
Flaps
contact Kaunas
15.
Tower 124.205.
Speed check.
Have a good evening.
124.205 for Nordic 972. Bye bye.
Flaps 15.
Kaunas Tower, Nordic 972, ILS Zulu runway 26.
Nordic 972, Kaunas Tower, wind variable, runway 26, cleared to land.
Runway 26, clear to land, Nordic 972. Landing checklist to flaps.
Landing checklist to flaps. Start switches.
Continues. Continues.
Recall.
Checked.
Speed brake.
Armed green light.
Landing gear.
Down 3 green.
Auto brake.
3 set.
Holding at flaps.
Flaps 30.
Speed checked. Flaps 30.
30 green light.
Landing lights.
On.
Landing checklist completed.
Kaunas Tower, French post 1 uniform November, ILS Zulu runway 26.
French post 1 uniform November, Kaunas Tower, continue.
Wilco, French post 1 uniform November.
500 feet.
Approaching minimums. 300. Minimums. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Speed brake up. No reversers. 100 knots. 80 knots. Auto brake disarmed. 60 knots.
Nordic 972, exit next available taxiway.
Exit next available taxiway, Nordic 972.
French Post 1 Uniform November, wind variable, runway 26 clear to land.
Runway 26 clear to land, French Post 1 Uniform November.
Nordic 972, request taxi to allocated gate.
Nordic 972, welcome to Kaunas. Say parking or advise if need assignment.
Ramp 16, please, Nordic 972.
Nordic 972, ramp 16 taxi via Alpha Papa Delta.
Ramp 16, taxi via Alpha Papa Delta, Nordic 972.
APU on the buses. Three minutes.
Transit shutdown checklist.
Electrical.
On APU. On APU.
Electrical.
On APU.
Fasten belts.
Off.
Probe heat.
Auto.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Voice recorder.
On.
Air conditioning packs.
Auto.
Engine bleeds.
On.
APU bleed.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Steady set.
Start switches.
Off.
Auto brake.
Off.
Speed brake.
Down detent.
Flaps.
Up no lights.
Parking brake.
Set.
Start levers.
Cut off.
Weather radar.
Off.
Transponder.
2000 standby.
CV RCB.
In.
Cockpit door.
Unlocked.
Transit shutdown checklist completed.
We can start deboarding now.